Hi. So in the last video, we created these endpoints for our API, and we also set up the testing environment with Insomnia. And in this video, we're going to take a look at how we can connect to the database. But before we do that, let's first discuss why we need a database. Because I can clearly store data right here in the application. So let's create an array here, which will be initially empty. And in the app.get function, I'm just gonna return the posts. Okay, so I'm gonna open the terminal and I'm just gonna start the server. Okay, now in Insomnia, if I send a request to the general posts endpoint, which didn't return me anything. Oh, okay. I put the request in the wrong endpoint. So this should be the one. Okay, now it returns a JSON which has all the posts. So in the posts, I'm gonna create a const ID index is equal to 0, and in the post endpoint, we're gonna create a new post here, const new post is equal to ID, which is gonna be in the index, and a title which is test post, for example, and let's create a description which is gonna be, this is a test post, this is fine, and let's just increase the index here, and let's push this new post inside our array, and let's just return the created post here. New post. Okay, nice. So now this thing should be working. So if I send a request to send what am I doing? Okay, here it is. If I send a request to a post request to posts endpoint, which is exactly the one which we created a new post in just now. Assignment to constant variable. Oh, okay. So I accidentally did that. Now if I send it, so it created a new post which had an ID of 0 and a test post. So if I send it again, it's gonna create 3 new posts. Now if I return all the posts, you can see it has the list of all the posts we created. But the problem with this is that if our server runs into an error or crashes, all this data is completely lost. So I'm gonna stop the server and I'm gonna rerun it. And now if we send a request again, you see the posts are again empty because we stored all the posts in like array which is created at the time of at the time when the server is started. So this is bad. So this is why we need a database which will store all our data and persist it in files and encrypt them and save and make them secure. So let's remove all this. Okay, it's not giving me any errors whatsoever, even though I don't have it. I guess that's just JavaScript. Yeah, that's fine. And this should also be get all posts. Okay, fine. This shouldn't run into any errors. Yeah, okay. So now we have two options for our databases. One is SQL and the other is a non-SQL database. So what's the difference between these two? SQL stores all of our data in a form of tables. So you can imagine we have a table which has an ID, a title, a description, and it has a lot of entries in that table, which are all the posts created by our users, for example. The problem with SQL databases is that they are a predefined schema. So if you want to, like, for example, um, change a add another value to our data to our model, for example, later in the development, then you will have to, like, invalidate or update all of the values that are created previously in the database. So this is where no SQL databases are have an, like, edge on SQL databases, because no SQL databases they have a predefined schema, but they are very dynamic and they can be, like, updated. So we're gonna use a NoSQL database here in this tutorial series, which is gonna be MongoDB. So let me open these up. So I have these two setups for MongoDB here, which I will link in the description. So one is the community server, which is gonna run on locally in your machine, and the other is the MongoDB shell, which you can use to, like, run MongoDB commands on the database. So go ahead and download it. Make sure that you are downloading the MSI version. Zip version is also fine, but you will have to extract it later. The MSI is just a straightforward, like, executable, which you can executable installer, which you can just run straightforward. You can, if you want, you can also download MongoDB shell if you want to play around with that. I have already downloaded both of these, so I'm just gonna run the initial installer. Okay, everything is straightforward pretty much. You just have to accept a lot of things. While this is installing, make sure that you leave a like on this video if you find these video tutorials helpful, and if you can subscribe to the channel, or if you want to support it even further, you can also check out the Patreon, which is also linked in the description. Alright, so it has finished the installation process for me. So I didn't install Mongo S shell because you don't really need it now. MongoDB provides you with an application which is installed with the MongoDB service. This will help you just run queries on your databases, which are locally, or you can, like, connect it to the cloud also. So let's start with this, and you can create a new connection with this. So let's just connect this to a database. You can create a new database here by clicking on the plus icon, and you can name it whatever you want. I'm gonna name it test for now, but because we're gonna create a separate database from our Node.js service. So, and I'm gonna name this test. Let's just name it post. Okay, create database. And as you can see, it created a new database which has a new collection, posts. We can run queries here. We can see all the data that is inserted, that is in our database. Currently it's a new database, so there is no data here. So let's insert a document here, and uh, let's give this title, which this is gonna be test post, and a description. This is a test post. Okay, let's insert this. Now as you can see there, a new data entry has been inserted into our database. Okay, for some reason it didn't insert all our uh, other values which I added. So let's just leave it here. You can delete this database by pressing the delete button, and you have to type the name of the database. So I'm gonna drop it. Okay, so let's just minimize this for now. Now you can connect to the data MongoDB service directly from your computer using a MongoDB package, but using this MongoDB package is a little complex. So this has a lot of functions, and basically the setup is a lot of like functions. What we can use instead is a separate service, Mongoose. This will help us connect to our database and basically run all the functionalities we need from our database by reducing the number of functions that we have to call. So this is basically uh, this basically makes it easy for us to use MongoDB. So let's install Mongoose. I'm gonna run npm install Mongoose. Mongoose is installed now. Before starting the server, I'm just gonna start the Mongoose, connect to the database here. So I'm gonna import Mongoose, and I'm gonna mongoose.connect. So it's auto completing the URL for me, which is very nice. But you should do that because you are learning currently. And this is an asynchronous function, so it's better to add a then block here. And after we have connected to the database, then it's best to start the server, and only then. Okay, now if I npm run dev, as you can see, our server is started, and our API is also, our server is also connected to the database. I don't know if it created the database here already or not. Okay, let's disconnect and connect again. Okay, it didn't create a database just yet. So let's make a schema for our posts here. Let's make it down here. Okay, I'm gonna create the schema for this here. Const post is equal to mongoose.schema. This is gonna be an object which will have title, which will be string, description, which will be also a string, and after this we're gonna add timestamps, which will be true. So this timestamps will add the created ad and updated ad field to this. So whenever we create the, like, you get it, like whenever we update it, it will change the updated ad timestamp automatically with it. Okay, so this is our post schema. And to create a model from this is const post model is equal to mongoose dot model. Let's rename this to, let's name this post, and in a singular sense, because mongoose will automatically convert this to like posts. This is just a naming convention with mongoose, that you have to name it in a singular uh, word, singular tense. So this is gonna be post schema. So we have created our model for this, and now we can finally like uh, get our stuff from this model. All right, now let's create our post first, because um, or maybe we can just do the like getting part first, because getting is very easy. Const posts is equal to uh, posts post model dot find. This will just return all of our posts, and we can send the posts back here from the API. This is actually mongoose dot model, not mongoose dot capital M model. All right, so now our server is running, and now if I send a get request, okay, converting circular structure to JSON. All right, this is because this find method is actually a promise. So this is a, so we need to actually await this function. And now if I send a request, as you can see, it returned the data, but it doesn't have any posts currently. So let's create a new post. Const new post is equal to new post model. So a title, which is we're currently just gonna name it test test title, and description, which is gonna be, this is a test description. Okay, so now we're gonna save this. So await new post dot save. We need to put async here. Okay, so after like saving this, we can just send this as the created post. All right, so this should work now. Let's test this. I'm gonna send a new post request here, and as you can see, it returned us our response, which is a created post with a title, test title, and a description and an ID. This ID is automatically given by MongoDB, which is always unique, and a created ad and updated ad. And this version is just don't worry about it. Okay, now if I get the posts, as you can see, it returned a data entry to us. Okay, nice. Okay, so now if I go to my MongoDB compass, and let's refresh it. I just pressed Control R. I didn't know it would refresh it. So it created a new database for us, which is posts, which has a collection which is also named posts. I think mainly because we messed up here, because we named it posts here. This should I should have named it something else. Should I change it? Okay, no, never mind. I'm not gonna change it now. So this is because our database is also named post because we gave the name posts here next to the connection string. Okay, so now as you can see, it has our data entry which we just created from sending our request. So nice. So this is gonna be it for this video, and we'll continue in the next one and create all of our endpoints and discuss new features like sending data from for example the test environment or front end, for example, to our API. And okay, bye.